Hello, hello, planets. How are you? Now, if you've had one of those weeks or even month where your plan has been ignored or everything feels a bit messy, this live stream is for you. Today, we're doing a simple weekly reset together, clearing last week's
Sure, Vistaprint prints
pages,
business
as
cards,
well
but we
as
also print.
as well as ease into November with calm and clarity. So, if you're ready, I'm ready. So, let us go. Now, let's say hello to who's here in the chat. We may not have anybody today because the time has switched for my US viewers. I think your daylight saving has ended, so it is an hour earlier than normal, but we'll check in when we have people coming in. For those of you who are watching on replay, don't forget to say hello in the comment section as well. Do not be shy. Fill up those comment section by letting me know where you are tuning in from. Now, if you are new here, hello, hello. My name is Mariane, and here I plan with intention most times. So, through my own planning, habit tracking, well being, and self care, I hope you can find your inspiration as well to move you from overwhelm. If you're feeling a little bit stuck, stressed, or feeling burnt out, that you can find through planning some intentional joy and self care as well. So, hopefully, you can get some inspiration throughout whatever it is that I do. Hello there, Anna. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Where are you tuning in from? Do let me know because I would love to know where you are tuning in from. Let's quickly say hello to Brenda as well. Hello, hello. Nice to see you. It's an hour earlier for you guys now that I think your daylight saving has ended. Is that correct? Do let me know if that is the case. So, what we're going to do today is we're going to spend an hour or so, depending on how we go. I just like to take it a little bit easy, just planning, being intentional, and adding fun and color to our planner pages. So, let me show you my desk. So the first thing I'm going to do is flip through last week's pages. So if there are any unfinished tasks, I'll migrate them, you know, move the things that still matter, and then, of course, let go of anything that doesn't matter for this new week. Let us say who else, say hello to who else is here in the chat. Lisa says hello from Virginia. Nice to see you. And Anna is from Mexico. Thank you so much for joining. Hello, hello. Hello there, Feloni from Wisconsin. How are you? Nice to see you. Is this your first time? So way. Anna, have we met before? Look, if we haven't yet met in the live chat, nice to see you as well. Hooray, hooray. You will find my beautiful plannerettes in the live chat very, very welcoming. So, like as I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip back through to my calendar page, the weekly spread from last week, as well as my daily spread. So what I want to do is I want to check any incomplete tasks, see if I need to move them to this week's. Now, you do not have to carry every task that you have that's incomplete forward, especially if it's no longer a priority. Okay, so it's just a simple way to help us reset our mindset before diving into the new week. Yes, all right. So, what we're going to do, this is my planner. This is the A5 Filofax Garden Organizer in dusk print. So, I do have an affiliate discount code in the description. This was gifted by Filofax to me. So then I can use it and then share how I feel about it. Not a sponsored video at all, but yes, so I have been a Filofax lover for a very, very long time. So I'm going to check my A5 planner, and I also, for the month of November, am using the personal Filofax Saffiano in blush. And this is where I hold my daily pages. So I'm going to go through that as well, see anything that's incomplete. So the first thing I want to do is I want to look at my calendar spread. So November, of course, just started on the Saturday. So there's 2 days worth, but I need to go and check the last week of October. So there was my October monthly cover page, and this is my calendar spread. So last week was October 27th, and then there's the 31st of October. So what I normally do is I like to have a look through and see, are there any things that I had planned for the month of October that I need to, maybe that I may not have, completed, or maybe I need to look into? But it looks like I have crossed off everything as I went throughout the week. So there is nothing on this week here for the month of October. And then for the first 2 days of November, now I have given myself a little self care activity, a little time for myself, that I was going to try and make sure that the first Saturday of each month, I'm going to have a coffee date with myself. Now, this was inspired by one of my plannerettes in my Plannerettes Inner Circle membership, Susan, who, started doing a little coffee date with herself. I think she has hers at the end of the month, the last Saturday of the month. So that's her nice little cap at the end of the month as a little time for herself. Hello, Tamara. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you being here from Switzerland. Perfect time for me. Excellent. Yes. So with all in October, we had our daylight savings here. I don't remember if it starts or it ends. And I know for my wonderful US viewers, it's the clock changed for you for your 2nd of November. So hopefully, whatever time it is where you are, that we are here to enjoy each other's company and hopefully get some ideas and inspiration to get us set up for the new week. So it looks like, yes, so my first Saturday of each month, I didn't get to have a coffee date with myself. I think I just stayed in, I enjoyed my day in. However, yesterday I had a nice, lovely date with my oldest son. So he's 18. We went to a noodle bar. So this is a restaurant he frequents, and said, Mom, let's go there. And I went, you know what? Let's go there. So he had a nice bowl of noodles, and I think I had pan-fried beef and cabbage dumplings. So it was a really nice day out, and we walked to the stationery shop. And I'll show you what I purchased then. So even though I didn't get to do the coffee date, I did get to have a date with my son. So I'm going to cross that off to say to myself, yep, I didn't do that, but I did do. I'm going to just write here so I note it down. Noodle date with Josh. So then I can memorialize that little date with him. Okay, so that's the first thing I look at before I start the new week. Check my calendar to see if there's anything that I had written down that I need to either action or let go of, or no longer matter for the new week. So that's the first thing. Let me pop my calendar, my divided tab. The next thing I look at is my weekly spread. Now, for me, I don't normally use my weekly spread to plan out the rest of my week, because I do have my daily spread. So for my weekly spread, if you were here last week, we set this up with these wonderful, lovely little florals in mason jar. Let me know in the chat right now if you were there with me live, drawing along these wonderful little floral things. Hello, Tracy. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for joining. Hi, Mariane, and hi, ladies. Anne saves craft and budget with Anne. Hello there. Hello, chat. First live here. Whoop, whoop. Nice to see you. Hooray. Hooray, Anne. Excellent. Thank you so much. Craft and budget. Oh, one or two things that I love to do. Budget, probably I've fallen off the wagon a little bit, and crafting, you know what? I would love to get back into it. So welcome, and nice to see you. All right, so my weekly spread, I don't do my planning for the week. What I use it for are for the known events like my YouTube lives, and also, any special appointments like get my blood test. So let's quickly review. So it looks like I've done those two. On Thursday, um, my oldest son, oh no, this one, I had to check the day before whether what's happening with my jury duty. I did do that, so I'm going to make a little checkbox to say it's complete. 9 a.m. jury duty. Note the night before, I got a text message saying my jury duty, the one I was assigned for, was cancelled, which actually was a little good turnout for the jury duty, because it was good that I was home, because unfortunately we got sad news about my brother-in-law passing away at 12:01 p.m. that day. And so I was thankful that I was home for my husband and my boys, and we were together as a family, and just sat with our feelings, and just so that was a little bit of a sad day. Now on Sunday, I was 11 a.m. for my YouTube brain dump, so I did do that, so I'm going to complete that. So those are the things that I do. Let me know, before you start a new week, do you refer back to the previous week's planner pages? Is that something that is part of your weekly review? This is only recently that I do this, because normally I do it on a daily basis, whether it's the night before or the morning of our crossing. But this is a really important thing, because what happens with our brain is it holds on to information if there is an open loop. Okay, so if the loop, that's your tasks, events, conversations, is not closed, the brain hangs on to that information. And of course, when our brain hangs on to information, keeps it stores in our brain, that's taking up space that instead could be used for processing, decision making, creativity. So it's important to look back at your previous week to ensure that you are closing off any open loops. All right. So Brenda says, yes, I did the flower vases on my daily pages. I love it. I love it. You have to show us in the community. Yes, I always look back to see if I left anything undone. Brilliant. It's really one of these important things, that what happens is, if we plan a new week and then there is still that are incomplete, and whether we haven't checked it, or maybe we don't want to look at it because, oh, it's too hard, we put it in the too hard basket. I don't want to look at it because it'll give me overwhelm and stress carrying that into the new week. Just remember, psychologically, our brain holds on to those information because we have not completed the loop. Completing or closing a loop doesn't mean you necessarily have to finish the task or complete it and get it done. It's just having a reminder for yourself into the new week that, yes, I know that I didn't complete that. It is still important for the new week, but I have noted it down. I've moved it or migrated it into my new week. Okay, really important that we start to do that, rather than I'll look into it later, because our brain wants to hold on to it. And the more space it's taking up to store those information, instead of writing it down on paper in a trusted planning system, then you might find that's where the overwhelm might start to come in, a little bit of stress, a little bit of anxious thoughts, or, most times for me, a lot of stress, a lot of anxious thoughts. So really important. Then the next thing I like to look at is, because I also plan on a daily planner pages. This one I store in my personal Safiano Filofax. So I will look back. So I plan 1 day per 2-page spread. Okay, so this is my personal daily planner pages. It's got the time blocking and 3 different columns for me to write down top priorities, other to-dos that's outside of the top 3, and any notes. So what I do is I go back to Monday. Okay, So in this case, I moved into this daily planner pages on the first, oh no, I've got, what was the 27th? So let's have a look at the 27th. Okay, here's my Monday to-dos. Now, I don't know if you've been here for a while, but what I like to do is when I have crossed off, completed, or no longer need to do anything on a particular page, I make a little marking for myself. See how there's a little star up there? Okay, that is telling future me that, hello, Marianne, when we review things, you no longer need to look at this page. It's my little notation to say the things on this page I've looked into already, I've either marked as complete or I've crossed off, I didn't get to complete, or I no longer need to carry forward into the new week or maybe migrate into a new month. Okay, so there's no need for me to look at that. I don't need to read each and every one or review it because past me have made a little note and says, nope, everything's done in this page. But look at this one. It hasn't been completed. So there's 2 open tasks that are on there. And then I need to review. Okay, what is it? It says there's, I need to update a couple of printables. That is still important. So guess what I need to do? I need to migrate that into the new week. So instead of leaving it there and having that as an incomplete task and then making me flip back and forth, as you can see, I have a little post-it note to remind me, hey, check this page. There's a couple of things on there that's still important. So what do I do with those? Well, I am going to migrate them into my new week. So how do I do that, you ask? Well, these things don't need to be done on a specific day, so I don't need to put it on a specific day of the week for this week. So what I might do is I might put it on here. I might migrate it into the notes section of my weekly spread. So if you have a weekly spread on your planning system, so whatever planning system you have a little space. So if it is non-day specific, so then really it's open-ended. You can do it anytime. It's not an urgent or time-sensitive task. That's where I will normally put it. So I am going to write those 2 things down. Now, if you saw, yesterday during my noodle date with my son, we went to the stationery shop and I bought myself the new limited edition Pilot Kakuno. I am hoping I am pronouncing the correct intonation for each syllable. Kakuno Madoromi. Let me have a look. I did have it say Madoromi fountain pen in fine nib. Look at that gold nib with a little smiley face in the light pink. So kakuno, kaku means to write in Japanese. No means possession. So I guess my writing. And then madoromi is slumber, light slumber or dozing. So it has that nice soft feel, so that, dozing off. So the pastel colors, so they come in a couple of variety of colors. So this one is the light pink, and it comes with a cartridge, and then I pop that. So if you want to check yesterday's impromptu live stream, I did an unboxing. So this is what I'm going to use for my new week. I'm just seeing that I'm flicking all the ink everywhere. All right, so let's have a look, make sure that I don't get any ink on me. So I had put for the Monday the 27th, I have to check printing instructions for 2 personal size planner inserts. So if you are following along with me, do exactly as I do. Sometimes when we have co-planning sessions together, the task is a lot easier than doing it yourself. Personal size planner inserts. Okay, So those two I have migrated. So what I like to do is I like to then put a little forward arrow. Okay, so see how all, I guess this is the greater than sign. And so it's just telling me I've migrated it forward because it is still important. It still matters. So I have put a forward arrow. And then I am using my Hobonichi basic stencil. And here it's got the little star stencil there. So I am just going to create that little marking. Now for this, because the fountain pen ink, because it is very inky, if I use it on the stencil, if I lift this up, the ink will seep through underneath and it will smudge. So for the stencil, I am using the Uniball one, and this is in the orange barrel. It is so cute. So I buy a lot of my pens for the aesthetic purposes, but more so, of course, the nib itself. But this is what I'm using to create that little arrow star to say to myself, Marianne, everything on this page you have checked off, no longer need to review it later on. And again, look, Tuesday, star, star. So no need to read it. Star, star, fantastic. Star, star. So if you get in the habit of doing this on a daily basis, whether you are looking at it when you're closing off your day or looking at it the next day before you start planning for the new day, it gives you a peace of mind. When you review things, it helps you close the loop, and therefore you are giving and releasing some pressure off your thinking brain that you don't have to try and remember everything. Okay, let me know if this is making sense. Give me a thumbs up or a yes, following along in the chat. Okay, so a star, no longer need to read it. See, now imagine if I didn't, I've completed everything on there, I've crossed it off or I've migrated, and then I'm going to be taking the time to read what's this, what's that. Okay, because past me said, no, we don't need to review it. Okay, there's no star there. There's no star there. Let's have a look. Now, you might have some things on your time blocking now where I can't remember. Did I do a morning? Did I do the morning routine? I don't know. I'm sure I had breakfast, so I'm going to cross that off and put a little check mark. Did I have lunch? I'm assuming I had lunch. I'm just going to cross it off. So if it's not accurate, maybe you missed lunch, I don't know. It's okay. You don't have to be 100% perfect. Now, Friday, did I get myself outside? Let's have a look. That's the 31st. 31st. Just so then for this one, I'd like to know whether I actually, got myself outside on the 31st. So for that, I look at my habit tracker, and my habit tracker, I didn't even fill it out. So you know what? I'm just going to go probably no. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and maybe my normal morning routine, I'm just going to put a no or cross it off. It's okay. It doesn't matter. It's not, remember, when we're planning, it's not about perfection. It's not a grade. It's not a test. So don't freak out and you go, oh, did I do my morning routine? What if I did and I crossed it off? Or what if I didn't do it and then I put a yes mark on it? It's okay. This is just part of the review. All right. Let's have a look who's here. Hello, Denise. Nice to see you. Hi, everyone. Not sure why start time is now 2 hours earlier. Well, I think daylight saving, so your clock went back 1 hour. And then for me at 5 a.m., mine went forward an hour back in the beginning of October. So there's the 2 hour difference. But for the last month at least, mine went forward 1 hour, and now it's back. But yes, that's what happens with daylight saving. It just throws everybody off. So Brenda says yes, following along. And Lisa says gives a thumbs up as well. I love it. I love it. Okay, so where are we? Yes, that's why it's really important. Make sure if I do have upcoming schedule, just hit the notify button. And then now, granted, YouTube doesn't always send out, from what I've heard, that, hey, Marianne's on. So it's, hit and miss, I think, sometimes with the notification, but it's always better to just hit that bell to get notified of when I am on live. Now, plan for November monthly live stream. I'm sure I did that because we went last week. Did I get myself outside? Again, I don't know. Did I reply to an email? Yes, I did. Okay, so then I'm going to do again is I'm going to make a marking. So see what we're doing here? We're just completing the loop. We're closing off open loops. Now I need to, okay, do I need to print my, yes, I need to do that. So I'm going to migrate that today to today. Where are we? 3rd of November. So I'm going to put a forward arrow because I'm going to go and print my November expense tracker. Expense tracker. So it's actually only recently both Ali Abdal and Mel Robbins talked about closing the loop. So the our brain really likes to hold on to loops because it doesn't want to forget. So if it knows that, hey, you're supposed to reply to an email and then you didn't reply to an email and it's an open loop, that's in there because it's saying, oh, I wonder if she'll remember to reply to that email because she wrote about it last Tuesday. So let's hold on to it. But then if you signal to your brain, hello, brain, I remember I haven't replied to an email. I've written it down on my to-do list or I've written it down on my weekly spread. The brain then goes, phew, okay, we no longer need to hold on to that. It's like, when your computer says low storage, low memory, okay? And then you go, whoop, let's clear all these things. And then suddenly it's like that little bar of storage goes, doot, 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 and it says more storage available. That's all we're doing when we're reviewing. We are not holding on to things in our brain, okay? Really important part of helping our brain not to stress out, because the brain thinks, oh, if she forgets, what will happen? Last time we forgot, to reply to an email, then it was detrimental to our work, and then it starts going into survival mode. It's going to start panicking. It's going to have anxiety about the future and what might happen. Okay, so poor brain, especially mine, brain fog already, plus these open loops. Clear the floor. So I've got here clear the floor because I did do that. Yes, I actually completed that. I even did a time lapse of it on Instagram. Check Mondays incomplete. I've done that. I've checked all of Mondays incomplete. What's this? Claim the football receipt. Yes, I've done that. See, look at this. All these things I've done that I didn't close off, like I didn't mark. Let's see. And this is also reviewing your planner pages, also gives you those dopamine hits, right? When you check things off your to-do list or your task list, it's a little tally on the wins. And then the brain goes, yay, it does a little celebration, and then it's gonna make you want to do more next time because it gives those little bubbles and bursts of happiness, even if it's a tiny little task. Remember, with wins, they don't have to be the huge grand one. It's as simple as completing a task off your list. What's this? What's this one? 550 add personal Safia. Yep. So I did the highlight of my flip through of this planner. This one, the support help desk followed up. So again, I'm going to complete that and say, yay, Marianne, good job. You completed all, well, you've reviewed Friday's task. And then we move to Saturday. Everything on here has been completed, so I'll put a little star on there. And then this one, look, because this was just Saturdays, because there's quite a few of them, so For you, let me have a look. What am I looking for? For you, if there are tasks on your previous week that there's quite a few of them and you don't want to rewrite it, this is where your sticky note flags come in. Okay, you just go, whoop, there's two of them there. You just go and say, okay, on this page, there are some incomplete tasks that I need to review. Let's have a look at this one. This one, I can take that off because I've completed it. I'm going to reuse this, pop this back on my little sticky note tab. Okay, so you don't necessarily have to rewrite everything again because there's so many on this, and there's quite a few bits that I need to follow up. I'm going to leave it on there. I won't put a star, but I will put a sticky note for myself to help remind me. So when that's closed, I'll go, what's that for? Oh, okay, I need to follow those up. And then yesterday, let's see, YouTube community post, I didn't do that, so I will go and put that here. So YouTube community post regarding replays of lives, okay, my different live stream. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a little forward arrow, okay, forward arrow, and then just mark this to say I've noted everything on this page. I no longer need to look at it. And then again, same here. So this one, I've already forward that, put clothes away, clear dining table, create. You know what? Instead of rewriting those, I'm going to write on here. Oh, look, I already had print express, November. So I'm going to just go here, check Sundays incomplete tasks. Okay, so even if I don't get to those tasks, I have closed the loop. So close the loop, as I said, does not necessarily mean you have to complete it. It's just allowing your brain to relax and go, she has put something on her to-do list to check back. So it's sort of like just that little peace of mind for your brain to say, I haven't forgotten. I know I still got to do them. So at least this one, check Sunday's incomplete so I can look back here. And then for this one, I've got a little sticky note flags. So whatever way works for you to help remind you of those tasks that you still need to review. So that is how I flip through the previous week's pages to ensure that I need to check what's incomplete, what's completed, and what still matters to me for the new week. Now, it does not mean you have to carry everything for the new week. Maybe some of those stuff you won't get to this week. You'll do them the following week or later on. Okay, so really important. So that's how I review the previous week. Okay, Filoni says, yes, thumbs up. I love it. Okay, so guess what we're ready for? We've taken a breather. We've checked off last week. We are ready to plan for the new week. Now, of course, a lot of these reviewing will not take 30 minutes, okay? Well, because I'm talking with you and I'm explaining the reason, a lot of the things we need to do, the big aha moments for me is when we know why. For a lot of things, knowing your why, knowing the reason, you're more likely to do it because rather, how sometimes when you get told you got to do it and it's like, why, what for? But once that clicks, the reason why it's important to review past weeks is because open loops create stress on your brain and it has to try and remember those things unless you go and write it down somewhere else or remind yourself to look into it again later down the track. Okay, that is an important thing of why do we need to review? Well, first of all, Great dopamine hit when we tick off things we've completed. It peace of mind that we haven't missed anything. I know for some of you that's here in the chat, you say that, you know, you get overwhelmed that you might be missing the things that you didn't look into. This is a great way to just give yourself a little bit of release that pressure to say, okay, I didn't get to do it, but I know that I will look into it later. It still matters. Not maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but maybe on Friday I'll look into it. Okay, and then of course when you go and review any incomplete task, it gives you it makes you your priority muscle, that prioritization muscle, you know, it strengthens it, because then you start to ask yourself, does this still matter to me? Yes. Okay, when would I like to do them? Does this matter to me? No. You know what, I no longer need to look into that. Cross it off. Whew, something off your to-do list. Okay, so hopefully that helps when we do a review of the previous week. Now we're going to set up my week using the weekly spread from my Ultimate Planner Bundle printable. Okay, so in here, just as a reminder for those of you that are new to my channel, I use my printable download. So it has a blank cover, dotted cover page you can embellish. So we did this together, I think just the other week. Well, you know, I've been going live so many times. And so I wanted to take November and add a little bit, take the pressure off myself in, you know, trying to strategize with my content creation. And guess what happened? Because I have taken my foot off that pressure pedal, I'm actually enjoying the creativity, coming on more often and just doing the things that I would normally do if I wasn't videotaping it. So I've been enjoying and been coming on live, doing lots of impromptu live. So then it also has the calendar spread, a habit tracker, a mood and sleep tracker. So I've started the new one for this month. I haven't you know, embellished that with the November heading. This, I started the new page from October 27th to November 2nd. So this is my well-being planner spread. And so with the mood journal. So if you are new to my channel, my Monday, I'm here in Sydney, Australia. For those of you in the US, it's your Sunday afternoon. And I do different themes each week. So I'll cover the well-being planner spread one week. I'll cover the weekly spread another. I'll cover creating goals. So then that way we practice together intentional planning. Okay, so we're building skill each and every week on how to plan intentionally, get different ideas from each other, productivity hacks, making sure we're putting self-care in our planner. Okay, so was October 27th. But for this week, we're going to do the weekly spread again. So this is my weekly spread. I like the columns, and then you also have in this page, but I'm not using, I actually, as you can see, are glued pages together in between these in the Ultimate Planner Bundle printable. I'll just pop that on the screen right now on the chat. For those of you who want to check it out, there is also daily pages, but I wanted to use my personal planner for my daily pages. All right, so set up the weekly spread. How do I do this? This is when my brain dump from yesterday, where I've categorized tasks and to-dos for today, tomorrow, and the week, comes in. So hands up, put a yes or a thumbs up or click that like button if you did the brain dumping session with me last week. Oh no, not last week, yesterday. My days are all, you know, mixing together. So who watched the brain dump with me session live yesterday or has watched the replay? So it's this one here, declutter your mind. We brain dump together. We put a timer on the screen. We got everything out of head down on paper. And then once we did that, we categorized and circled and highlighted things we'd like to do for today, tomorrow, and the week, and for the rest of the month and future ideas. That's what we did. So what we're going to do is we're going to use what we got yesterday. So where is my brain dump section? Okay, so this was yesterday for me, November 2nd. I got everything out of my head on down on paper, and then one by one, we categorized by using colorful markers, highlighting or circling the things that we need to do for today, tomorrow, the week, the month, for future plans and ideas, and things we crossed off that's not true. Maybe negative talk that we told ourselves that was in our brain. So this brain dump guide, along with the brain dump trigger list, as well as the self-care bingo, and also the brain dump printable, is part of my Calm and Clear starter kit. If you haven't got yours yet, yes, these are free printable. What? All of that? Why, Marianne? Why so generous? It's because I do not want you to come to a position where I was a couple of years ago, where you have a mental breakdown, which I did. I'm a mum of two young boys, an 18-year-old, well, man now, 18-year-old, and a 16-year-old who's on the autism spectrum. 2019, I homeschooled him, not knowing how to homeschool anybody, but we made it work because we wanted to make sure our young son was not in an environment where he was he was in a survival mode, because he had lots of challenging behaviors. The school system wasn't able to help him, and we were being called at school more often to take him home, because unfortunately he might have had caused some trouble at school. And I just went, imagine my poor little boy just going to school, not knowing what's happening, not knowing how to manage his emotions, his his sensory processing, and feeling like he is stuck. And so, out of fear for the unknown for me, but yet for the love for my son, we took him out of the school, and I homeschooled him from 2019 to 2023. Unfortunately, like a lot of women who are caregivers, who care for others, I was not looking after myself. And looking after myself is taking time for me, right? Putting the oxygen mask on myself first, not pouring a water so then I can give to others. So all those things that we know we should do. Okay, women, we care. I think my generation, so I turned 50 at the beginning of the year, we are called the sandwich generation, because we're looking after young ones, and we're also looking after our elderly, right? Our elderly loved ones. So we're stuck in the middle. And so what happens is, we want to make sure our young ones, whether our children are already grown as well, not just little babies or little toddlers, but if you have children who are already grown adults, and then you've got elderly parents or elderly relatives that you're also looking after, or even worrying about. We are in the middle, and we're trying to look after everyone. And guess what happens? We forget to look after ourselves, which I did. And so I created these brain dump trigger lists for my own purpose. And then when a lot of you started going, where did you get that? And I was like, oh, if I knew how to do this in 2023, maybe I wouldn't have come to that point of a breakdown mentally, where I had low thoughts. I thought that I was not good. I thought that I was a bad mum. Then I thought I was not a good wife, because, here I am, I'll be crying on the couch, and then making everyone feel like they have to look after me. So I don't want you to be in that position. And that is why I made the printable. Okay, so really important. If you can use it as much as possible, please do so. And looking after yourself is not only an afterthought, not only when you're already spread thin or you're already burnt out. You've got to do it at the beginning. You've got to do preventative measures rather than, or apprehension. I'd always get the apprehension prevention thing. All right, don't take a break only when you're tired, only when you're falling apart. Look after yourself, so then you can look after others a lot better. And that's why I have these printables for you. So Brenda says, yes, did the brain dump with us yesterday. Yes, saw you. And of course, Tracy, I love my plannerets. So this is a really important thing as well, is doing it together is one of the best ways to get ourselves out of the stuckness that we may feel. Because then, look, we have our community, and I think it was Brenda that said, when we do it together, it's so much easier because it's like you're just there with friends. Okay, so what was I up to? Brain dump. That's right. So I brain dumped. I circled today, tomorrow, which was green, and the blues. And guess what I did? I transferred it to a running to-do list. So for those of you new, the running to-do list that I have, this is a printable based on the Alistair method, where he says, write your tasks for the week only on one page. Okay, in no particular order. You write it down, and here on the left-hand side, there are columns for the days of the week where you get to go and assign the task for a particular day. And seeing your task only on one page gives you a nice bird's eye view to go, hey, that's manageable. Always allow for room, because this task that's going to come up throughout the week that we cannot plan for. And this is a physical or visual way for you to give yourself breathing space. Okay, because if you fill this out with to-do list and then you go, but Marianne, I got more to-do list, I need 2 pages. And then you're getting overwhelmed, you're feeling low, you're feeling down. Okay, you cannot fit everything that you would love to do, because there's always going to be something to do. Our to-do list is a never-ending to-do list, because we'll think up of more things to do. But where our energy and our capacity will not allow it if we don't give ourselves breathing room and time for self-care. We need to look after ourselves. So if you go, I don't have time for self-care, guess what? You need it more than ever. You need it more than when you have less on your task. The more tasks you have, the more self-care and breaks you need to take. Please. I really want to say this to you, because I don't want you in a position where you feel helpless and hopeless like I did a few years back. It's not a nice feeling. Look after yourself. Okay? Pinky swear. All right, pinky swear in the chat for me. Sabrina, nice to see you again, my dear. Thank you so much. You are not alone. I have been in the valley before too. Exactly. And that's because we forget ourselves sometimes. And we think that, most of us for a long time think these things for the last 20, 30 years, that we think it is our duty to care for others. It is. But on that care list, you need to be on there too. Actually, you need to be on top of that care list. All right. So it's so important. I know for those of you who hang out, because Marianne talks about that all the time. Guess why? Because on Wednesday, I'm going to feel down. It's just somehow the way, again, it's 20, 30 years of thinking that way. So for me to go and make sure I replace it, reframe it, place other positive affirmations, I got to do it again and again. And I got to say the message again and again, whether it's for you, my lovely plannerettes, or for me. So then when I speak it, I hear it, it's a lot clearer than keeping it and holding it in my head, or not even saying it to myself, that I am important. You are important. We are important. Okay. So my running to-do list, that's what it is. And then you get to see visually as well, how many tasks you're assigning on particular days. So guess what? I am using my running to-do list from my brain dump that we did yesterday to help me plan my week. That's right. Look at me. I'm already ahead, right? I'm already ahead by knowing what I need to do for today, tomorrow, and the rest of the week. So I just go down the list. So yesterday was Sunday for me. So let's have a look. You know what? I'm going to leave that in a second. I'm going to start off from Monday, because I want to make sure I have enough time for the other things that I have planned. So make sure you stick around, because it ain't just reviewing and planning. We're going to do something creative again at the end, because it's fun. We got to inject fun and creativity. If we just use our planner for tasks, to-dos, appointments, bills to pay, Zoom meetings, pick up this, pick up that, do this, do that, it's boring. Okay, so my little tagline, we're going to plan, we're going to make and create, and then reflect. That's what we're doing. Plan, make, review. Is that my thing? Plan, make, reflect. Plan, make, review. I've forgotten now. Brain fog. It's 5:50 a.m. here in Sydney, Australia on a Monday. So please forgive me when my brain sometimes doesn't work. Plus perimenopause. Okay. Whoa. Hang on a tick. My light was smoking. Ooh, I'm so glad I caught that. Hang on. Oh, what happened there? Ooh, smells of burnt plastic. Okay. So I was going, oh, what is that zapping noise? Okay, I'm so glad I didn't start a fire. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe, yeah, so this was getting hot and it was sizzling. And so we are throwing that in the bin, but we're going to let that cool. Hang on a tick. Ooh, make sure I actually don't have that hot thing. Make sure I'm not starting any fires behind here. Woo! See, these things. I was just saying, unplanned things will come up, right? If something, you know, knock on wood that nothing bad happened, but if something was like, that would throw us off. And if you have lots of stuff on your to-do list for the day, and then an emergency comes up, then you're going to feel like you're falling behind. So always allow for space for other things to come up. You know, I like to show and tell here, but probably not do that, Marianne. Not have anything nearly catching on fire. Hello there, Susan. How are you? I hope you are well. Thank you. Yes, I am well. Thank you so much. Did you get my message, my reply to your email? So I was showing my pen style pair of scissors yesterday in my unboxing. So that is... I can smell plastic. I'm just very, very cautious that nothing else is zapping behind me. Okay, so where are we? There we are. So planning this week. What was I saying? Yes, so give yourself some breathing room. So I'm going to just go off Monday first because this is the new week. So I go down my running to-do list and have a look. What did past me, or yesterday, say I would like to do or look into today? So Monday, okay, I'm going to unbox. So you can either pop it in your weekly spread. I'm going to pop in my weekly spread, but for this one, I'm going to leave this space blank because I want to do some creative stuff just like I did here. So we're going to have something to look forward to. Okay, so I'm going to leave that blank, and I'm going to leave this section of the columns blank for my top 3 priorities. Okay, so if any of these things that I write are top 3 priorities, then I'll put it there. Okay, so let's have a look. I go down my list. So if you got your own running to-do list, plan along with me. So I'm going to put unbox the parcel. So yes, that I need to do that today. So I'm going to put it here. Okay, so however, unbox parcel. However you use your weekly spread, your daily spread, do how you do normally, okay? So follow the way your brain works. If you like to do it, you know, section it on the morning stuff, the evening stuff, or afternoon or the evening, do it that way. For me, I'm okay with just a running to-do list from top to bottom. Okay, so that's what one. What's this one? See incomplete task from last week. Well, we already did that one. So I don't even need to go and put that on mine because I did that today. So what I like to do is on my running to-do list, I go see incomplete task. I will check off the box, color it in. Whoop, I'm running out of ink on that one. Color it in and then cross it off. Okay, so underneath my running to-do list, there's these little actions to go and tell you what to do. So cross means I've completed, and I'm going to cross a line through it. So guess what? I no longer need to look at that task. So the next one is I'm going to need to look for reduce draft copy of a blog article. So is that a top priority for today? Yes, it is. I need to get that done. So blog articles, okay. And then what else? Okay, I need to do, so expense tracking, get outside 100 skips. All right, so then that one, you know what? I'm going to put that in my daily, because they're my daily tasks. So whether you're planning on a weekly spread or a daily spread, migrate those things. So I think I've got get outside, 100 skips, yeah, and expense tracker. Yeah, so I don't need to go rewrite that because I've already written down my task for today. And then for Tuesday, I need to go and take everything off my walking pad. My walking pad at the moment, I purchased it so then I can walk, you know, indoors and get my step counts up. But guess what's on it? My rubbish. Well, not rubbish, but my, you know, I put it as a dumping ground. So what did I say? For Tuesday, clear walking pad. Is that a priority? Yes. Because what's the point of having a walking pad, Marianne, if you're not using it? Clear walking pad, okay? So let me know, are you following along as well, planning as you go with me? What else did I write for Tuesday? Swatch the zebra mild liner. I'd like to do that. So I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, but I grouped my zebra mild liners in their color group, because some of them I have realized they need replacing. So I want to know exactly which ones are running out of ink. And then also it's a great way, you know, this is a creative self-care. So it's something I enjoy. I'll make a little swatch maybe and pop it into my traveler's notebook. So then when I'm out and about, because I use this as a wallet when I'm out and about, I can see what colors I need to replace, or if I swatch other markers and highlighters, I don't buy doubles, because sometimes I do that and I'll go, oh, that's a nice color, and I'll go home and I went, oh, I already have one of those. So that's something I'm going to look forward to. So is that a priority on Tuesday? It's not a priority, so I'm going to pop it here. So which means all the prioritization means that is, if I don't get it done, it's okay. It's not one of my top priorities. So what did I say? Swatch. So yeah, again, I'm keeping this area for my top priorities. So what did I say? Swatch zebra mild liners. Okay, mild liners. So what else is for Tuesday? Tuesday, I will add into calendar. I need to add something into my calendar. Add to calendar. So that's for Tuesday. And then the next is use your running to-do list and have a look. What did you write down for the next set of days? So Wednesday, clear the studio desk. Okay, so I've got one of my little desk here that I had, using to take photos of, my planner pages. But at the moment, again, what's on it? Rubbish, things that I haven't found a home for. So is that a top priority? It is, but if it doesn't get done, it's not going to cause any havoc. So I'm going to go and put that as a non-top priority, because I do have a few other top priorities, either for today or Tuesday, that I know will take a couple of days to go and complete. So see how when you are starting to plan, because you have a list already of the things that you need to do for the week that you got out of your head down on paper during brain dump, what happens now is your brain now starts to help you prioritize. Before, it would have just been all on your to-do list, and you would have gone down and gone, oh, this to-do list is so long, I feel like, and then you get fatigued, you get tired, you don't want to do it. And then this is a great way for you to prioritize and see for yourself and be kind to yourself. Okay, to go, if I don't do that, what will happen? Is things going to fall apart? Will that have a knock-on effect later on in the week? So then you go, you know what? If it gets done, fantastic. If it doesn't, it's not going to cause any major havoc in my life or in my week. All right. So for me, that little thing of clearing one of my tables is not a top priority. It's I'd love to get done, but I'm okay if it doesn't get done that day. Clear studio desk. Okay. What else is on my Wednesday? Sort through cutting desk. Okay, on the other side of this desk that I'm working on is had dedicated as a cutting and my hole punching desk. So I have the paper trimmer, and so at the moment I'm forever putting it on the floor, folding it up, putting it over here, putting it over there, and I actually want to dedicate that table as my cutting desk where I hole punch my planner printables, where I do all the paper printable stuff or my planning stuff. But at the moment, what's on it? Cables, boxes, bags of whatever else it is. So is that a top priority? Again, it's not. So I'm going to put it down the list. So this one is clear cutting table. And what I'll do as well is when I do it, I'll do a time-lapse video. So then hopefully if you're watching this and then you watch that, and it'll help inspire you to also clean up a space in your environment, because cleaning up a space in your environment helps your brain as well. How does cleaning up your environment help your brain, Marianne? Our brain is always trying to look for order. Okay? Is everything in place? It helps ease us. And then what happens is if things are not in its place, it thinks there's danger. It thinks there's threat. Okay, it'll go, why is that not in its place? What's going on? Because our brain is still, made like in prehistoric days. It's always looking for things out of place because it thinks that's danger, there's threat. And so when that happens, even though nowadays in this, in our lifetime, there's no more saber-toothed tigers. There's no more, dinosaurs, right? But what it does, it's still looking for danger. So looking for threat because it needs to survive. And so what happens, the part of our brain called the amygdala switches on. It goes, do we need to fight something? Do we need to run away from something, or do we need to freeze so then we don't get caught or eaten by the saber-toothed tiger? So that's what happens when our environment is, how for mums, socks on the floor, towels on the floor. Have you ever wondered why that triggers you? Because our brain goes, why is that out of place? Why isn't that where it's supposed to be? Why is the dishes not done? Right? Because our brain likes to have things in its place. So if you are at your desk when you're working and you're getting a little bit snappy, have a look. Is it a mess? Do you have cups of coffee there that's half drunk? Or do you have bits and pieces of food? This would normally be my desk, right? By having a clear environment, it's signaling to your brain, things are okay, things are in its place. There's no threat, there's no danger, we can relax. Then what happens is, boop, this brain, the part of your brain that makes decisions, right, the cognitive part of your brain switches back on, and then suddenly you can make decisions a lot faster. So if you ever find yourself, why am I snapping? Why am I snapping at everybody? Well, those socks on the floor, that towel that's not hung up, things in the laundry, not put in the laundry basket, it's just our brain going, what's going on? Why are things out of place? And it's in a fight. It switches on the fight part of our amygdala. Okay, so these things, you're probably wondering, why do I even mention these sort of things? Well, originally I started learning these sort of things for my son. My son is on the autism spectrum. Why does he suddenly have a meltdown? Because if things are out of place for him, and that's why he's not for a lot of one of the generic things that you hear about children or adults in the autism spectrum is that they like to line things up. They like to have things in order. My son's not so much that, but he does love things in its place. So if he sees one of my planners now suddenly not there, he'll go, Mum, where's your pink planner? It's not there. So for him, that causes him stress, because what's going on? Why are things not in its place? And that's how I started to learn. And then through that learning, I went, oh, my brain's a bit like that, right? So you don't have to be on the spectrum or ADHD. You can be typical, neurotypical, functioning person, but it's still the way our brain works. It wants to know things are in order. So if things are not, then it'll give us stress. Just the same way open loops. It's trying to clasp onto things so we don't forget. Because if we forget, it might cause us harm in the future. And harm could be, you might lose your job, or your boss might get upset with you, or your colleague, whatever environment you're in. Okay, so that's great. It helped me work better. I love it. Okay, so where are we? So clear the environment Wednesday. What else? Sort through the desk and swap pegboard. Okay, so swap the pegboard. I've got the pegboard from IKEA. So I have it on one desk. I want to move it to the other desk. So then when I'm taking photos, I have a nice little background. Again, not a top priority, something I would like to do. So swap pegboard. Okay. So that is how, if you ever wondered, how to use the running to-do list when you've done a brain dump, okay? When you've sorted out the things you'd like to do for today, tomorrow, and the week, and popped it on a one-page running to-do list, how is this useful when we are planning our new week? You just saw me. You saw me do it, okay? It's just assigning. Now, of course, what a running to-do list, it's called a living list, as in it can be changed. So if, let's say, this one I didn't get to do today, I can move it to Tuesday or Wednesday or later in the week. Or I could actually cross it off and go, you know what? When I brain dumped it on Sunday and then I'm starting to plan, it doesn't matter. It's not a top priority for me this week. So I can cross it off, because you are helping yourself build that prioritization muscle. You are starting to learn what is important and what is urgent right now. It's not like a forever thing. You can do it again. You can do it next week. Okay, so really important. That's good to know. Yes, in the environment. So Sabrina says, I have a child on the spectrum in my class. This information is helpful. I love it. Yes. So a lot of times, I know one of the things that we had learned, so it's when behavioral therapy, they talk about ABC, the anecdote, the behavior, and the consequence, ABC. So for a lot of, when my son used to have, meltdowns, or he'll break something, or hit a child when he was at school, primary school, and even he was in a support class, and we'll ask the teachers, what happened beforehand, and in the immediate time before the behavior, probably everything seems normal. But maybe a bit early in the day, someone took his pencil case. So someone moved the chair, or, a poster that you might have had yesterday is now not there. So for them, that environment, the change, right? Well, for everybody else, you might think, oh, it's okay, we moved the chair. Little Charlie, you sit over here now. For them, that switches on their amygdala. Why are things not the way that they were yesterday, or how I've compartmentalized it in my brain? For them, that's a threat because now they lose sense of control because they don't know what's coming up, right? They need to have things predictable. And so even though we might go to my other teacher of my son's school, is what happened beforehand? Oh, nothing. But then suddenly he just, hit a child, or he he took the posters down. And then we go, oh, what happened to the class that he was supposed to go to, because we were trying to integrate him to the typical class. And it's going, oh, that got cancelled. Or, oh, we had a fire alarm. There you go. He had a meltdown because he lost control. He to him, that's chaos. To him, that's threat. Okay. And of course, some children on the autism spectrum cannot verbalize this. And every behavior is communication. So when they have a little, they stim, or they might start screaming or whatever, that they are communicating. Things are stressing me out, but they can't verbalize it. So yes, those things, not all, it's going to be different. So if you know one child on the autism spectrum, you know that one child on the autism spectrum, because everybody is different. But learning these things, the brain, I mean, even the way our brain works, the typical ones, right, we still can't manage. So imagine those who have, neurodiversity. So that's the things I have learned for myself. Okay, so this is how you use the running to-do list to plan your week. Let's put it back. All right, so again, if you are carrying anything over, just like these ones, you don't have to carry everything. Let me just pop a nice little check mark on there for myself. All right, you don't have to go and migrate everything if it's no longer important for that week. Why carry those little bricks of tasks and to-dos in your backpack until you have to carry them next week? Okay, so those are the things. Let me know now in the chat, do you have any questions? If you did the brain dump with me yesterday, do you have any questions? So here's the thing, okay? Most of the time by Wednesday, just my knowing my patterns, I will not probably look at my planner, because I did today's Monday, I'm going to work tomorrow, and then by Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, my energy level is lower. And so I tend to not look at my weekly planner spread, but then that's when my running to-do list, because it's simple, it's one page, I'm just going off one list. And that is the reason why I have a running to-do list, a weekly spread, and a daily. Because I cannot anticipate what my energy will be like on the Wednesday, the Thursday. Will I have a lot of energy to plan on a daily page? Maybe not. Will I have a time to look at my weekly spread and go, oh, I have, maybe yes or no. I don't know, because we don't know what's going to come up. So what I like to do is, just like the Girl Scout, be prepared, right? This is me preparing myself to ensure that whatever mood, well-being, energy, capacity that I'm going to be at later in the week, I help myself. This is where kindness, this is where grace, this is where permission and giving yourself that opportunity to take the foot off the pedal. Do not put so much pressure on yourself that you drive yourself sick. Sick physically, sick mentally, sick emotionally. Just because sometimes we can't see when we're not well emotionally and mentally, we push through. Because society have told us, come on, put your big girl undies on or big girl panties on, work through. Doesn't matter if you're not feeling well. It doesn't matter if you're not, you're a little bit mentally burnt out. Come on, there's stuff to do. You've got people to care for, tasks to do's on your list. And then what do? We work through and we burn out and we cry and we feel frustrated. We feel like we're failing. We're not failing. We're just, going through life, and life has its ups and downs, okay? So let me know if this has been valuable so far. Please give it a thumbs up, like and share. Make sure to click that like button for me so then I know that you are getting value. And of course, women like us who need to hear this. For a long time, I felt alone. I felt I'm the only one going through this. Or if I share, what am I complaining about? Marianne, what are you complaining about? You've got a good family, your children are healthy, you have a roof over your head. Come on, other people, worse than you are doing it worse off. Come on, stop complaining. And so we hide it. We isolate ourselves. We think we're going to be a burden to our friends, family when we share things, when we cannot handle things. We have to stop doing that. We have to share. A shared load becomes lighter. Okay, so really important. Not only are we sharing our wins and our gratitude, we also need to share the hardship. So then we understand, oh my God, I thought I was the only one who was going through this mess of an October. But when you hear others are also, you go, oh, it's okay then. It's okay to feel the way I'm feeling, and I'm not behind. Okay. Answers. Let's have a look. Big thumbs up. I love it. Thank you so much. Exactly. We need to make sure we really look after ourselves. So when we're planning our week, Marianne, what do I do when I'm already overwhelmed and the week hasn't even started? Then you do some gentle planning. Only write down. So as you can see, I already actually went, oh, that's not a priority for that day. And I'm starting to know my patterns that these 3 days, my energy level isn't as high as it is today on a Monday morning where I have you guys with me, because I don't have you with me all the time. And sometimes I get sad. Sometimes I get down. And so I already don't put myself too much pressure. So how do you do gentle planning? Gentle planning is just giving yourself 1, 2, tops 3 priorities for the day. Okay, so if nothing else gets done on your weekly task or your running to-do list for the day, apart from one thing out of your top priority, you have won. It is still a win. You have made progress. You're doing enough. Okay, you listening to me? You are enough. What you're doing, and if enough is resting and just sitting your butt on the couch and doom scrolling and watching your Judge Judy like I do. I love my Judge Judy, right? And then just, that is enough too. Give yourself the little bit of a break. Just the same way, those racing cars on the track have pit stops. So then they check the tires, they check the oil, they check the engine, right? We also need to have some pit stop. Okay, so how do you do gentle planning? Well, you asked. I'm so glad you asked. You do 3 different things you can do, different type of priorities. Okay, Sabrina also says thumbs up. I love it. I love it. Okay, this is gentle planning. What is one must do? Okay, so if you must do one thing today, that could be a day specific, time specific that must get done, because if it doesn't, things will fall behind. So how do you know what is a must do? What's one thing I absolutely need to do today? That could be a meeting. That could be, picking up milk, right? That is drinking water. That's one. So if you go, what's a top priority? Another one is what's called a recharge. Okay, so one thing, one breath, one win. So just have a think. What's one thing I can do, or what's one thing that'll help me reset, or what's a one win? So what's one way, I'm trying to read here, what's one way I can recharge my energy today? Is that just sitting for 5 minutes? Is that drinking water, enjoying a cup of coffee or tea, going out for a walk, calling a friend, reading a book, doing some knitting? Okay, these are recharge. Taking one deep breath. What is one recharge? It does not have to be an hour-long recharge. See, we've been led to believe self-care is all those spa baths, manis, pedis. Oh, actually, speaking of manis, I did my nails. I did my nails in a celebration of my pink Palette Kakuno Madoromi fountain pen. So I tried to do nail art. This is the first time I did my little nail art. Don't look too close. Look over here and squint. So I did my nail arts, all right? So I did that. And then, or what's one tiny win I can complete for a small sense of progress? You know, cleaning your desk, um, you know, calling a friend, right? What's one tiny win? Finally putting the laundry, your socks and socks away, or if you've got shoes all over the place, that's a tiny little win. That tiny little win tallies up in your brain. Woohoo! Dopamine hit! Yay! Okay. Oh, I like this feeling. Let's do something else. Okay. So this is what I call gentle planning. And guess what? I have a video that shows you how to make. There it is. There it is. Gentle planning. Okay, how to make these do-it-yourself prompt cards. This is a laminated sheet, so cut off because, you know, we are a homeschooling family. So we have laminating sheets and a laminating machine, but you can also use cardstock. You can use plastic from packaging, okay? And then these are your sticky note flags. And then I use a label maker to label it. But in the description, I have this video on how you can make this. So I normally, because now I know when I'm doing my top priorities, what's one thing that's for myself to recharge, what's one thing that's a win, and what's one thing that I absolutely must do. So as you can see here in my gentle planning or in my top priorities, I have, all right, those are the top three. So let's just say today's Monday, because it is, okay? So if I go through and then I went after now, I went, oh, I'm so tired, I need to sleep. Or it's like, if I just do one of these things, I'm okay with it. Or here, if I only do two, it's okay. It's still a win, all right? That is what's gentle planning. You're being kind to yourself. Getting rid of old and broken things. I love that. That is a win. I love that win. I have a lot of those. I have right at the front of my door. There's normally that little section is I'll put all the things that either is a giveaway to donate, to throw, or to see if, you know, my older son might want it instead of throwing it first. So we have that. Yes, get rid of old and broken things. That definitely will be a nice little win. So where was I? Okay, so that's gentle planning. So just look at 1, 2, or 3 things. All right, so really, really important. And the links are in this description for the video of the brain dump, the video of the how to do it yourself. So if I do mention anything that I didn't put in the description before starting the live stream, I normally, most times, do watch it back and then have a look and then add anything that's on there. Okay, so those are the things that you need to do. So normally I would fill this out with all the rest of the stuff, but we're now on the top of the hour and a half mark, and we have some fun, creative things to do next. Okay, so really important, really, really important. This isn't about perfection. It's about making sure you're getting back into the flow of things when you just stop for a little bit when you're feeling overwhelmed and doing some gentle planning for yourself. All right. So if your week or day feels overwhelming, start with just one small thing. Getting rid of old stuff, having a nice coffee, right? It's going to help you give that sense of control. Because remember, our brain always wants to know what's going on, because that gives us a sense of feeling that there is no threat, there is no danger, everything is okay. And if everything is okay, ploop, our decision making and our cognitive thinking part of the brain turns back on. It's like as if the light's back on. It's like, and you watch, honestly, you watch. When you have given yourself time for a break or reset, the thing that has been on your to-do list that you've been dreading, you go, oh, I've had that email on my inbox for a week and a half and I've been dreading the reply. And then when you've had the reset, you go, dear Bob, Thank you so much for your patience on my reply. I will get that to you by end of next week. I was like, oh, and then they go, oh, thank you for letting me know. It's, you know, take your time. And here you are, you've been dreading it and dreading it because you are in survival mode. You are ready to fight or you're ready to flight. Okay, so really important. Um, Anne says, I wish everyone a wonderful and blessed Sunday. Thank you for hosting, Marianne. Thank you so much for joining. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Anne. I'll see you again soon, okay? So thank you so much. All right, so writing your top 3 priorities and clearing one small area of your desk is a win. All right, so it's really, really important. Okay, so what is this thing that Marianne's got going on with the creativeness? So last week we did let's have a look, where are we? There we go. Okay, we did this lovely little mason jar drawing. So now you've got this on your little list of things that you can draw. And look, how many different versions of the mason jar, and even look with a cute washi tape on it, right? That you can put in the corner of your planner. So you have now 7. I even did this one for my Wheel of Life because I didn't complete all my tasks from the previous week. Instead of leaving it empty, I drew over it, okay? So you can draw over your planner pages as well. All right, let me have a breather for a little bit. Ooh, have your water, everybody. Get your creative brain switched on. So then that way we can do some fun embellishing. Now, if you do want my planner printable, check my shop at mariannecresp.com. If you haven't yet downloaded the Clear and Calm starter kit that's free, make sure you do that as well. That will put you on my weekly email list. And every week I send out either, little tips because sometimes it's just that little reminder that, hey, make sure you're looking after yourself. Take it easy, or sometimes I'll have freebies or any special updates. So make sure you get that free Calm and Clear starter kit as well. Okay, so now let's have a bit of fun and creativity and embellish our weekly spread. Let's make it pretty and not just have it as a plain, boring weekly to-do list spread. Okay, so just like last week, I'm going to shop, right? I'm going to shop my previous bullet journal embellishment, and to this week's little doodling inspiration is brought to you by February of 2018. So today I'm going to embellish the top of my weekly spread or weekly pages. Oh, my ear is itchy. Okay, with these cute little floral felt tip pen doodles. Okay, so again, not botanically correct. So I'll get you to go and have a look at that. I don't think I have anything on there I think this is when I was at work, because some of these are accounts and they're just names. There's nothing on there that's what do you call it, type of information, sensitive information. No, nothing. Okay. This was back when I was bullet journaling. I started bullet journaling in 2017. So this is a year anniversary of bullet journaling. So I've gotten a little bit better. I got my own style, but this is what we're going to do. All right, top of the page. So we're going to follow along. And guess what? You can, I'm going to keep it on here so I'll have it on handy. There. You can use a pencil first if you like. Where is my pencil? And I'm going to zoom in so then that way you can draw along with me. Who is ready to draw along with me? Give me a thumbs up in the chat right now, please. Make sure, oh yes, I was going to zoom in, wasn't I? Marianne's getting all excited for the doodling time. Okay, so I am going to use felt tip pen. So bringing me back to my bullet journal days. So this was gifted to me by one of you lovely plannerettes, Steph. I think I'm going to use, let's have a look, which felt tip? let's see. I don't want it too thick, but I don't want it too thin. Sabrina is given a heart. Thank you. Let me just see which thickness that I want. This is 3. So whatever felt tip marker or whatever black ink you have, if you've got tiny brush markers, you can do that, or just a gel pen. It's all okay. So the first one we're going to do, I'm going to do it first using a pencil. So then so whatever space you have, you can draw a circle or an oval, okay? So this is just all hand drawn. Denise, excellent, love it, okay? So just do circle, circle, circle. Doesn't have to be perfect. We don't actually want it perfect. We want it to be, what's the word? I keep forgetting the word I always say. Raw, authentic, or it'll come to me. It'll come to me. Probably because I need breakfast. I need breakfast. Okay, and then the floral design, again, make it up. Doesn't have to be botanically correct. So when we do the circle, we won't make one perfect circle. Excellent, Lisa. Exactly what I had said. Check out your Pinterest for inspiration for whatever theme you want to use. Because I was thinking of autumn leaves, because for those of you in the US, you're going to November in your Thanksgiving. But here in Sydney, it is the second month of spring. But I thought this little, floral, and it's a continuation of the floral theme that we had from last week. So with the circle, we don't want just one circle. I'll show you as sort of like make it go and warp like that, okay? And then the same thing, maybe a couple of lines, okay? So this one, I'm probably just going to leave it as black and white doodling, okay? Or if you want, you can make it square, triangle, oval, or you can make it funny old shapes. All right. So the first one is sort of like a dandelion, so just like burst of stars. All right. So if you can even make them different size, some longer, some shorter, and then just create little circles at the end of those spokes. Okay, look how easy that is. You can also use different colored markers, different colored inks, and then just if there's any spaces, create more little circles and dots in between. That's it. All right, so I'm probably going to have this theme as black and white. So I'll probably pull out my black and white colored washi tape. And then the next one, just do a branch. All right, there we go, just a branch, and then little stems coming from it, okay, and maybe leaves, 2 leaves at the bottom. All right, and then out of the end of those is just create circles. Don't color it in, because what we're doing is you want to alternatively, you want sort of like a dark solid color and then outlines, so then it's not all heavy on like one part of your planner spread. Okay, and then this one we're going, because we did solid, this one is an outline, we'll do another solid, and let's do a branch going this way. Okay, all right, and at the end put a little leaf and create a solid leaf, and then just make little leaves, little leaves, little leaves. Okay, so you of course can do this at the top of your page or at the bottom of your page, and you can have it here. All right, whoops, one more leaf. There we go. So there we go. And so this is going to look good when I use a black and white washi, because it's going to balance it out. Okay, so this one here, so have a little stem going up like that, and then we're going to have it, so then it's like what do you call this, like a candelabra? Is that what it is? okay? And then here, let's just put some leaves at the bottom. And then here, we're going to create circle, 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 circle. And then put the little, you know how some of the what do they call? It's not spud. What do they call? You know, before they bloom, they've got the little bits poking out. Okay, so that's one. Again, so see how some of these are not all, you know, I don't know what plants these are. Okay, another branch, and this one we're going to create tiny little leaves, tiny little leaves, tiny little leaves. So if you're like Lisa, who's looking on Pinterest for autumn, you know, you can do autumn leaves, okay, different shaped leaves. And then, of course, you can color it in autumn colors. And then this one maybe a little bit more, let's do add some flowers. So this one will do sort of like a 3 little petals. Can you see 3 little petals? So do a teardrop in the middle and then 2 on the side. Little teardrop and 2 on the side, teardrop, 2 on the side. And then let's add tiny little leaves in between the branches. Okay. So if I wanted, I can maybe pick one color, you know, one family color, maybe again different greens, and then keep it, you know, have it that way. You can embellish it as much as you want. And then let's have a look. Let's do a stem that way. And then we're going to have a tiny little leaf at the top, and we're going to make the leaves get bigger as we go down the branch. Okay. So as you can see, we just did 7 little line drawings of floral embellishment. Okay, I'm going to see if I can do this. Let me see, actually. Bear with me. I'm going to see what black and white washi tape I have that will go nicely with that. I think these ones look good. Okay. So I've got these here. So you can see that, well, that one's more blue. I'm gonna pick these 2 because then it's got it's not too heavy. Because they're the same, I might not pick that one. I might pick this black one here. Okay, and we're going to layer and stagger our. I'm still thinking about my light catching, heating up and nearly catching fire. Because sometimes I do leave. I mean, the battery doesn't last too long on those, or the charge. But I'm just, you know, now it's scaring me that sometimes I do leave some of my lights on. So that is, I'm now going to be vigilant. Is that the word? Oh, I keep getting the edge caught on there. Let's go have a look. Gentle, gentle. Okay, so this is like, I'm going to continue a black and white theme on this little page. And so see how now I've created that black embellishment there. These don't stand out too weirdly on the page, because on its own sometimes it's like it's too stark, you know, like on its own. But then when you start layering black and white things on there, and then here I might go and do that thing that I do by tearing the washi tape in half. So just measure it first. Oops, I'm not on screen. Measure it first. Tear it by hand. Now, because it's going to curl up on you, and just very slowly tear the middle. Even better if it's like all, you know, uneven. So then that way it creates that nice edge that it's also like jagged a bit. So by doing this, and trying not to rip the washi tape. By doing this, it's going to balance out your page. Because sometimes if it's top heavy with, what do you call it, with embellishment, it looks, to me anyway, for me it would look weird. Look at me, I'm getting myself all tangled up here. Right, it would look weird if it's just all top heavy embellishment. Can I do this without tearing it apart? Da, 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 da. Yes, put that aside first. And then I use the straight edge to line the bottom. And then we're going to just pop that there. Okay, and then here I'll do probably the same lettering as that. Let's have a look. Let's pop that there. That's nice. Okay. And then, which one did I use? Did I use the 6? Yes. Or do I want to use a thicker? Let's use a thicker one. Yes, I'm going to use a thicker one. And I'm going to just go, so what is it? November 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, is that right? Today's the 3rd. Yep, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I am going to copy my November here so then I remember the lettering. And I think I'm going to keep this one without any colorful outline. So November and E. So now this lettering, this is the blackberry blueberry font. So I went on creativemarket.com where you can buy fonts. But what I did is I just entered the whatever word that I wanted in the preview. I typed it in, and then it'll show you how the letters look next to each other. So 3 to 9. Is that what we said? November 3rd to 9th. Yes. Okay. So I'll just make up whatever 3 is to 9. Okay. There we go. And then here, because I want to go and highlight, I'm going to use gray. So we are now, I think, the 2nd week of November. I'll fill that out later off camera. So what do we think? I probably need something here. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. So the other thing that I had on that page, on my bullet journal, where did it go? Where did it go? See, this was my bullet journal days. Okay, so that was, look at that one. That was the following week, and then I embellished it with that. See, sometimes I love looking back at my old planner pages. There we go. And look, you can also embellish the bottom with like grass and different type of flowers, wildflowers, I'm assuming this would be. Or you can do just little rows and fill out any empty spaces with just little doodles like that. Okay, what else did I have on here? I like looking back at my old planner printables. And look, I even did a watercolor. So this is what I wanted to talk about, taking November and adding creativity. Because sometimes we do get a bit in a, you know, a planner rut, you know, because if you plan all daily, you plan weekly all the time, you know, you sort of like look at your page and you go, oh, it's the same thing over and over again. And this is where you need to go and find some, you know, creative outlet, whether it's going to be your planner page. I'm liking that. What else can I do? And then you can even add, I don't know, what else can you add? You can add maybe in the spaces that you later on what's called after the pen, when you've written down and you've completed your page, any empty spaces, do some more, add some, add some washi tape. Maybe you can add washi tape here. Let's add some washi tape. Let's just do that. I'm talking about it. We might as well do that. Okay. Again, by adding these sort of things to your planner pages, so then you don't feel like you're forced to fill it in. Washi tapes and stickers gives you the visual breathing space. By filling in some of the pages or your spread with with stickers and washi, this is essentially giving yourself breathing room to go, I don't have to fill that page with lots of tasks and to-dos. Because sometimes that's how I felt in the past. There's space, so that means I've got to go fill it up with more stuff to do. All right, let me just have a look at this one. And look, so just with your washi tape, if you're putting it in the different columns, just balance it out, Don't make it too matchy, unless, of course, that's what you want. Unless you want to make it matchy. I've got stickers, washi tapes everywhere. Okay, maybe here, and maybe I think that's too dark. Maybe I'll go add this one here. And then what you can do is, if you have any stickers that sort of like has a floral theme, you can put it over that. Do I have any stickers? Do I have any at all? Do I? I don't know. I don't think I have any that's handy. Let's have a look. Ooh, I just spotted something. Look, there's the garden stickers from Filofax. Let's see. Is there any black and white one? No, they're all colorful. Ooh. These are some of my, I think the Carpe Diem or Happy Planner Classic. I think I'm going to, instead of doing a color, because it's black and white, so have a look at your sticker stash and see if there's anything that's on there. So, fun, that's nice. So then you can go pop that here. Look. Okay, fun. What else? So this is a good time to use up any of your stickers that you haven't used for a while. Cool days, maybe here. Cool days. What else? No, not beach time yet. Not swim day. Happy 4th of July. It's fall. Love today. Oh yes, let's love today. And let's pop that here. There. What do we think? All right, so of course I'm going to fill the rest up with all my other tasks, to-dos, appointments, and things like that. And then maybe even, positive affirmations. Okay, so this is when you inject fun into your day. All right, into your planning. Don't just have it. So if you ever feel like you haven't touched your planner pages in a while, maybe just use it to go and draw things. All right, really important. So this, what do you call it? Floral doodle spread was brought to you by my February 2018 past bullet journal Marianne days. And so, yeah, so really have a look. Let me know, how does yours look? What did you do? I'll probably add some things on there. Maybe I'll add gray. Let me add. Will this smudge it? Yes, I think I'm going to add gray. Just looked a little bit too stark on its own. I needed thickness. You know how sometimes you go, something's missing. So I'm just going to add gray to continue the black and white theme. And then just sort of like make that, because yeah, it just seemed too thin. Let me just have a look here. I have for there. And whoop, that one there. It's looking a bit, no shadow there. All right, let me know what your thoughts are. Does that look good? Give it a thumbs up. All right, so all I did was use one pen, use black and white. You can use colored markers, highlighters, different gel ink. So just really go wild or go minimal, whatever it is. It's such an easy way to make your page feel lighter. Give yourself visual breathing room by adding washi tapes and sticker, and feel a little bit more like you. So whatever is beautiful or aesthetically pleasing to your eye, do that. This is just an example. So if you want some fun, other things, maybe if you work in an office, maybe just do little doodles of email, an envelope, a pen, stapler, whatever it is. And then, of course, if you are not, you don't use your planner aesthetically or creatively in this way, then find some other ways to ensure that you are adding fun into your day. All right, so that doesn't necessarily mean it be on your planner. It can just be your day. If you like to go out and just go for a walk and enjoy nature, do that. Adding tiny creative touches like this can bring joy back to your day. All right, so let me know if that feels good. So I have a question for all of you that are watching here on the live chat, as well as those of you on the replay. What is one small thing you'll do this week to make your planner feel more you? I want you to share it in the comments. If you're watching on replay, if you're here live, share in the chat right now. I'd love to know, and also it gives inspiration and ideas for everybody else watching. So to quickly recap, today we looked back at last week's pages. Okay, we migrated or moved things over that still matters, and we set up our week with a new layout, just like we did here. And then, of course, added a little bit of fun and creativity to make planning fun again. So if your week feels overwhelming, start with just, gentle planning. So we have the gentle planning prompts. 1 priority, 2, 3, and if nothing else gets done except one thing, it is still a win. Okay, so we talked about gentle planning and doing that one small thing that gives you a sense of control. Maybe writing on the top of your planner, breathe, go for a walk, have a drink of water, clean a small area of your desk. Remember, you don't need to have a perfect week, just a nice fresh start. Take things one small step at a time, right? You don't have to, do everything all today or complete everything today. And let your planner be your calm corner when your life is feeling a little bit overwhelming and a little bit busy. Okay, it's time to light up the screen with your wonderful, beautiful, lovely, calming, and encouraging words. Let's make this week calm, clear, and intentional together. Okay, so I'll see you. Why is it that? I don't know why that's focusing weird. I'll see you all next week for our next plan with me. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you all. Let me know in the chat what is one thing that you are going to do, small thing you'll do this week to make your planner feel more like you. Type it in, send some word of encouragement and gratitude in the chat right now, and we'll fill up the screen with all your beautiful words. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
I see something, it's coming up on the horizon. Oh, let me clear my head and get rid of the distractions. Oh, I was down when I saw you in the clouds. Out of phase, filled with doubt. I was drifting in and out, levitate, fade away. I had left full time and space, but you just caught my eye. Hey, nah, please won't you come over? Let me get to know ya.